Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here. And today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon FireRed. Last time we started the Mount Moon. And so today we'll continue that, although first and foremost, well, we technically would have also some things to check in the bag, like we found a new TM, a new inside Mount Moon, so we technically could check that, and so also the case containing it, but we'll see. But even more than that, I'm thinking I'll quickly go back to Pewter City to buy some repels to make it less painful going through Mount Moon, considering that, as you have seen last time, all the Zubats coming out. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. Starts here the summary with exiting the gym, moving a Pokemon in the box, buying the Pokeballs. That one I had remembered. And yeah, then exiting Mount Moon, even though we actually exited it only simply just to heal at the Pokemon Center. And yeah, we saved here. So yeah, first and foremost, I'd say let's go back actually to Pewter City, as mentioned, for some repels. To make it, to at least avoid all that. Came to buy. I'm glad in a way that I hadn't bought them immediately, just because we could have risked not having enough money for Magikarp. But yeah, here we have the item, and yeah, this one we'll definitely check. We are definitely checking out, since it's here in the shop. First and foremost, its name, Mushiyoke Spray. And yeah, it's first and foremost technically a compound. I wonder if it's straight up. This one I'm not sure if... okay. Haven't we actually seen it before? I think we might have checked out just the name, because I kind of remember this a matter of the Mushiyoke. But yeah, I still mention it. Literally, we have Mushi, which means insect, that we have already seen in this very series, thanks to the bug-catching boys, unaccented on its own. Yoke is written now with a different kanji in this compound, but is still clearly related to the verb, which is yokeru. Yokeru, usually written with another kanji, means to avoid physically someone. It's worth mentioning that the same verb, the same kanji can be used with another reading, sakeru. That one means to avoid a situation, a question, and so on. So yeah, depending on the reading, we have this change in meaning, but yeah, the fundamental meaning to avoid. And yeah, despite the different kanji, still related, of course. It does make sense since it's the kanji with the meaning exclude. Usually a different reading, but yeah, here technically gets also this one as a suffix, seems. Yeah, yoke, ru, verb, it's and verb, so we can drop the ru to make the continuative form, and so the corresponding noun, which is avoiding. But yeah, then it becomes with this mushi yoke. Becomes, by the way, unaccented. Yeah, it's we have seen that that can happen to compounds, especially these ones of strictly Japanese origin. So be careful. But yeah, literally insect avoiding. But yeah, as in insect repellent. Yeah, so then we have simply spray. Spray from English. Pretty easy. We check again the accent. I feel like we have seen before this explanation because I do remember, or at least the mushi yoke. Okay, I think I now remember. We have seen it in a dialogue, not the item itself. It was the dialogue in this very city, in Pewter City, when where there's an NPC using this item to keep away the Pokemon from the garden, or however it was called. But yeah, spray, yeah, from English. Luckily, actually no, this is a good thing we checked because it actually is one of those words from English that aren't either. Usually those either keep the accent like they have in English. The easiest thing. So yeah, those are luckily the most common ones, at least apparently so far. Quite convenient. Another relatively common, well, not as much, but still we have seen several of them at this point. Words from English that become unaccented in Japanese. You have to remember those. And then, luckily, way fewer, at least so far, that are accented but change the accent. And yeah, this is one of them. Because spray in English would be on the rei. Yeah, no, in Japanese it's on the pu. Spure. Most likely to keep the because the accent is on the third to last mora, which is a spot really a typical spot for the accent in Japanese. Most likely I'd say yes, that's why. By the way, also remember that the U of Su is barely heard if at all because it's between a voiced consonants as usual. And then we have the description, which says Hyaku po susumu aida yowai yasei no Pokémon ga mattaku dete konaku naru. And yeah. First and foremost, we have this a numeral plus counter combination. Unfortunately, I can't check the accent with Hyaku specifically, but I still take the other dictionary. Got the physical dictionary. The other one, I mentioned other because I already had the one with the the suffixes for a reason. But we'll see it when the time comes for that. I got now the one for the numeral plus counter combinations. First and foremost, well, this counter is straight up actually. This po is that kanji would use the kanji, which means to walk. And so actually nowadays would usually be pronounced ho on its own. Kanji, which means to walk, and so you can see why then it's used also as the counter for steps. Pretty obvious why. But yeah, nowadays ho instead of po. Po is the original pronunciation, as we have said before. But then at the start of words, like in when using po on its own, they became the hagyo, ha, hi, hu, he, ho. Most likely, actually, originally f, f. So you can see even more so why p and f are close. As even more so considering that the Japanese F is actually bilabial, so yeah, same place of articulation changes. That one is the stop and the other is the fricative. P, po, ho. And yeah, you can also hear how closer it is. But yeah, at the start of words, ha, hi, a, hi, fu, he, ho. In between, it usually becomes w, wa, we, u. That it's simply dropped because yeah, it was u is practically the same as u. We, wo. But then because of the further evolution of the language, only wa remained. But we have seen it again, and we'll see it again in certain conjugations of verbs and so on. Compound words. But yeah, here actually apparently it stays most likely because actually of a contraction of some kind, even though it's a weird one. But yeah, counter for steps. Wanted to check, while we can check for hyaku specifically, with 100 hyaku on its own, accent on the last more. We can check for the other ones. So yeah, ho. Okay, I'm looking at them. Okay, luckily they seem always accented before ho itself. Of course, with the changes, as mentioned, yeah. With the contractions, we get ippo, then niho, there without it. For the number 3, weirdly enough, sometimes it happens, but luckily not. It becomes apparently sampo. So instead of the usual voicing for the san, because of the voiced consonants were actually prenasalized in classical Japanese, so it makes sense. But yeah, no, apparently this, so be careful. At least that's what this the dictionary mentions. And no, that's straight up handakuten, the small circle. Yompo, goho, roppo, nanaho. Both variants for the hachiho or happo for 8, kyuho, and juppo or jippo. Jippo technically is the correct, the one following the rules of, because it was, ju was actually ji-fu, jipu, then ji-fu, jiu. And so that's why jipu, it can get contracted, and then only the ji would remain without it, jippo. But nowadays, by adapting the from Ju, the reading of Gu, which becomes Gu, EU becomes U, long U, with the further evolution of the language. But then, yeah, they simply kept the Ju reading and applied then, shortened it and applied the doubling. And nowadays it's the one most used. More convenient, even though, yeah, it's not the original one. So yeah, technically both exist, but yeah. I'd say more likely you'll hear the Ju variants. But yeah, so the rule, pretty easy, yeah. Before Ho, with the changes mentioned. To keep it technically as Po, we would have a contraction Hyappo with one. Unfortunately, I can't verify it. Unless I can find it. Somehow find it in the dictionary, even though I have doubts that they would, the online dictionary, they would list such a term. I could try by combining the two kanji. So that plus the one for 100 and the one for step. Okay, yeah, I actually found it. Thanks to an expression, actually. Which I confess I haven't heard before. Adding the verb yuzuru, which means to well, several meanings in this case to concede. We'll see why when we check out the meanings of yuzuru. Another one, the most typical one I say is to give up. Technically, the fundamental one more likely is actually to hand over, and then in the sense of to give up by extension. We'll see it better when the time comes for it. But yeah, there it's mentioned, yeah, as a hyappo. So yeah, apparently, yeah, there's the contraction also there, and that's why we have a po here. Yeah, unfortunately, even in the expression, I can't check the accent of these. But yeah, luckily, apparently the rule is before ho, so yeah, it would be hyappo on the hya. Can't stay the accent on the doubling of the following consonant. But yeah, let's continue with the the explanation of the description here. Susumu, a verb we have already seen before. I don't remember if in this very series it means to advance. Unaccented. We have seen it, for example, in Kirby's Adventure. There was literally the sign there to the next word that had Susumu, unsurprisingly. Then we have Aida. This we should have seen, although we could have seen the other reading of that kanji. But yeah, regardless. A noun, so technically we have a relative clause here. Aida means space or period, so yeah, technically an interval, although either in a physical locative, I could say, sense, or a temporal one. Aida unaccented. Yeah, you might remember that there's another word with a similar meaning, ma, unaccented, and yeah, uses the same kanji, unsurprisingly. But yeah, Aida is I'd say the one used the most on its own. Yeah, for sure, definitely found, for example, in this case here. So yeah, in the distance then from space, the distance of we have to adapt it in English, of advancing 100 steps. Then we have your Y, week, we have already found it, pretty sure. Also in this series should be, or at least a related word. What we have definitely found, on the other hand, your Y, by the way, accented as a reminder. What we have definitely found is Yase, because it's quite a typical term of Pokemon games. Means wild, Chinese compound, luckily unaccented like those usually are. And now which takes the possessive particle no, as you can see also here, to make in practice an adjective. So yeah, wild something Pokemon, usually here. That's why it's found so much. Subject particle ga. Mataku is nowadays considered either used as an adverb, and that's technically its origin, I'll mention it again in a second, or a noun. But yeah, it actually comes from an adjective matai, which means complete, whole, perfect, entire, and so on. Formal, a formal adjective. Usually I'd say actually not used in its adjective form. More used here with by dropping the E, adding ku to make the continuative form. Herein it's one of its most typical uses as the corresponding adverb. Cioè, completely, really, truly, entirely, completely, wholly, perfectly. Actually, as we'll see in a second, also here, used also with negative verbs, so in the sense that in English we would say at all. But yeah, even in English you can see how at all uses a word, an expression still includes all. So yeah, still related to really, truly, entirely, technically. Even though English distinguishes them, uses different expressions, technically different words. Japanese doesn't have this problem. We have seen the same words adapting, being used in a certain sense in the positive, in the affirmative, or in the negative. Mataku, by the way, unaccented, so I guess actually Matai should be unaccented technically, but it isn't marked in the online dictionary plus plugin combo. Doubt where it's also in the physical dictionary. I can quickly look for it. I don't think we have either searched for it and we didn't find it, or straight up isn't present. Honestly, I'd say most likely, yeah, no, not present. But yeah. Then we have the verb dete. From deru, we have even studied this kanji, to go, come, get, out, to exit, accented, verb with some verb, so we can drop the ru to make the continuative form, and then simply add the te to make the te form. In this case, the te form required because then we had a verb of movement, which specifies the direction which this verb happens. As you might have noticed, I mentioned the translations of teru as go, come, get, more in general also out. Yeah, then we can specify if it's go or come depending on the verb of movement following the type form of this verb. For example, first and foremost, here we have kuru, the other verb of movement. The fundamental one is iku. Iku means to go, unaccented. Kuru, accented, means to come. Unfortunately, completely irregular. So we have to remember that it's irrealis, not a state, negative base is irrealis, not a state form, or more simply in contemporary Japanese, negative base is ko. Here, simply to then add nai, the e adjective, which means non-existent, used also for the conjugation to make the negative form of verbs in plain speech. But it doesn't stop there, because nai is a adjective as mentioned, so we can drop again the e to add ku, continuative form technically, in this case required by the following verb naru, which means to become, and uses when it has before it the continuative adverbial form of e adjectives. I mentioned this adverbial because it can also use the ni for na adjectives, which is also used, the form used for to make those to turn those into adverbs. Although it's worth mentioning that also that one is technically a continuative form. Ni also used with nouns. But yeah, regardless, naru, to become, we could say usually nowadays you would say naru, its fundamental meaning to become. I'd say keep in mind to turn into, you can see then why we have those forms. So to turn into whatever, or better in this case, then it becomes so that whatever that adjective says before it in the ku form. But yeah, so here it's saying that during the interval, the duration of advancing 100 steps, weak wild Pokemon, well, it becomes so that weak wild Pokemon don't come out at all. So, oops, I want to actually do that. Because we want to buy some to make it. We don't have actually a lot of money here. I'll still buy 3 of them. Better than nothing. We'll use them when we get further into the cave. But yeah, with that, we have already spent a good amount of time checking that out, so I'd say we can go back. We won't check the bag for now. But yeah, here, route 3, you can quickly go through it by a good thing they give you the running shoes at this point, as you have seen. Route 4 again. We can enter Malmoon once more. Yeah, we have the graphic there, pretty cool, exclusive to FireRed and Leaf Green. It's music here. The reason I took out the physical dictionary, the other one, by default, is because I think I forgot last time I explained the Japanese name of Malmoon. But I think I forgot to mention its location, its what it corresponds to in the real world. Malmoon corresponds to Mount Akagi. In Japanese, Akagi-san. And yeah, I've already explained, mentioned also last time. San as the suffix for mountains. Actually, the one more used nowadays, despite we have seen a lot of Yama. Yama on its own, accent on the syllable on its own, means mountain in Japanese, is the strictly Japanese reading. As a suffix nowadays, you would use more san. As to possibilities. One is before san itself. So yeah, that I'd say is the more generic one. Be careful though, because there are some mounts that their names are accented on their own, of course, before the last mora, and they keep it. The most typical example, Fuji-san, Mount Fuji. Fuji is accent on the first mora, so yeah, Fuji-san keeps being accented on the fu. But yeah, so it is Mount Akagi, which is located in the Gunma prefecture, as we have seen when we had in Japanese Gunma-ken. When we had ken, the suffix which means prefecture, yeah, this we have already seen thanks to this very series. The accent is always before ken itself, so yeah, easy. So in our case, Gunma-ken on the ma. I'm not sure. But yeah, you would find it anyway accented like that. So used with the suffix usually, so no worries. Interesting that Bulbapedia mentions that Mount Akagi features a crater lake near the summit. And we see that, well, we should have already seen the matter of the craters, technically from the moon, as in this game. But yeah, most likely a reference to the crater lake then. But yeah, so we can actually restart going around Mount Moon here. I'm thinking the best way to tackle this first. Okay, we have already tackled this train. Okay, no, I didn't remember correctly. Yeah, to continue, we have to go to the right. By the way, yeah, we have this to do, first and foremost. Yeah, we haven't caught Zubat yet, so yeah, we catch one. Okay, that is new, by the way. Pretty easy though, so won't take us long. New move. I put it here, so yeah. We can see a part of the graphic of the attack on screen. It's called Odorokasu. I don't remember the English name. But yeah, it's the one that one of those attacks that can make you flinch. Yeah, that typical weak one. Currently only, well, apart from obviously the Japanese name in front of us, but only the Italian name comes to mind. But yeah. Odorokasu is straight up a verb used in Japanese. Comes from technically Odoroku. Odoroku means to be surprised, to be amazed, to be astonished, and so on. By extension, to be frightened, technically. But yeah, the fundamental meaning is to be surprised. the accent is accented, okay. The verb we have here is odoro kasu. Yeah, based on the meaning, you might have guessed that odoroku intransitive. Odorokasu is transitive. Notice the intransitive in u, the transitive in asu. Yeah, the transitive is most certainly a classical form of the causative. Cioè literally to cause someone to be surprised and then simply became the transitive to surprise someone, to surprise, to frighten, to create a stir, also says the dictionary. But yeah, straight up, the origin a causative. The accent is still accent, lucky. But yeah, simply called like that in Japanese, so pretty easy. Oh yeah. Yeah, it really doesn't come to mind the English name, unfortunately. And I'm not looking it up and risking causing issues. I think I might be able to use Tank Shock here. Yeah, one. This bike being super effective, as we have seen. Kyuketsu, I have the feeling we might have seen before. Don't remember though. I think maybe last time we shouldn't have seen it before. I mentioned quickly it. I think we have seen it, but yeah, I mentioned it again quickly. Literally, it means sucking blood. Uses the two kanji with that meaning to suck, inhale, and so on also. Ketsu is the kanji for blood. Respective in strictly Japanese, they have the readings su. The former, the latter chi, unaccented. I think unaccented also su. We have seen that before in other series. Notice the mini inhale. Yeah, we have seen it with Kirby. Yeah, unaccented su. Chi also unaccented. But yeah, here a Chinese compound. So unaccented for that reason, the most common accent for those. But yeah. Sucking blood, so yeah, blood sucking then. The other way around, usually in English, but yeah. So yeah, well, I think we have seen it last time, but I wanted to explain it anyway. In case I didn't, but yeah, still a reminder can be useful. Anyway, yeah, we'll catch it now. Yes, thank you. Ah yeah, we got Zubat. I had here we have the Pokédex. First and foremost, on top of the location, because Pokemon can be divided by location also in this game, as we have seen. It says Dokutsu no Pokemon, and yeah, we have already seen. Also thanks to this, to the sign, I think, about the Moon, or at the very least the NPC talking about it outside it. Dokutsu means cave, also found in Cave Stories, Japanese name. Dokutsu, Chinese compound, unaccented. Possessive particle no. Pokemon, so yeah. Cave, Pokemon of caves. But yeah, again, the name Zubato, clearly bat from English batto, but also this Zubato, an onomatopoeia in Japanese, one in with that to, so the to at the end is technically the quoting particle with, before it the quotation, so with Zuba. So the small tsu, other than doubling the following to, is also the abrupt end of the word there, so yeah, because it's a glottal stop. So zuba, zuba. And yeah, with that sound, you can see why it means without hesitation, frank, then by extension, frankly, bluntly, and so on. Or also another meaning, cutting, forcefully, directly, piercingly. But yeah, wanted to explain it again since we have it here. As mentioned last time, batto usually not used in Japanese for bat because yeah, they usually use the Japanese word Komori, found here in the category of the Pokemon, surprisingly. And yeah, Komori is the Japanese word for bat. Nowadays usually written with kana alone anyway. Should technically be a global reading, even when we use the kanji. I want to see if I can find the etymology on Wiktionary. Okay. Okay, found it. Okay, comes from apparently Kawabori or Kawahori, Kawabori. It's worth mentioning that before checking out what that comes from exactly, the evolution is the wa then simply became au, so ka-u. Au, as you have seen, with the evolution of the language, became long o. While the hori, better bori, actually from that bori became mori, because as I remind what we mentioned already today, incidentally, the voiced consonants in classical Japanese were prenasalized, so actually bori was mbori. And yes, so actually much closer to mori, and you can see why it actually evolved into that then. There are other words, as we'll see, which have a variant with the b or m, again for the same reason. But yeah, this Kawabori then, from what it comes, okay, no, unfortunately it isn't. The ultimate derivation is unclear. Most likely, the kappa, the kawa, seems to be from kawa, a word still used in Japanese, which means skin, technically, leather, but yeah, no. First and foremost, skin, hide, so also pelt, fur, all kinds of usually animal skin. Kawa, accent on the last mora, nowadays kawa, which I guess was actually then pa originally, and the p became w because of the evolution of the language, as already mentioned. But yeah, then the hori component isn't clear anyway. But yeah, actually then there's also the kawa, with a different kanji, which means specifically leather, but you can see why they are related. Yeah, straight up, I've checked out kawa, yeah, kappa originally, straight up written with kaha as the historical kana. So yeah, usual stuff. So yeah, even more so, you can see it's more, it's likely to be the origin of this. But yeah, let's check out here the explanation. Oh, actually, I don't think I mentioned the accent of Komori. Accent on the first Mora. Could be, actually, as we mentioned, could be most likely a compound. Would be one of those compounds accented of strictly Japanese origin. Accent on the last Mora of the first word. So originally would be on the wa of kawa. There more than the accent of kawa because of the rules of the tendencies, we should say, because unfortunately not all follow them, of compounds. But yeah, then it would move logically because the U now found the accent can stay on it because it's simply the longer vowel. So yeah, it has moved on the previous one. So yeah, on the ko. So yeah, it could be because of that. But yeah, let's check now for real what the Pokédex says. Ryoho no mega sonzai shinai. Yeah, first and foremost we have this Ryoho, a Chinese compound. I don't remember its accent. I would say... Okay, good thing I checked. It's actually one of those that... one of those weird ones. The accent here is on the ho. As I've said, Chinese compounds usually are... Most are unaccented. Followed by those accents on the first Mora. And then there are some weird ones accented in other places. This is one of those, unfortunately, yeah. So, Ryoho could be because it's technically a numeral plus counter combination, even though a not typical one. Because, yeah, technically we have this Ryo, which means in Japanese simply usually now both. Originally it's actually another way to say tsu. Yeah, by the way, it's used still used in Chinese liang. So yeah, you can see, by the way, from liang why we got well, originally ria u, then became a nasal u. And so yeah, from Riao, then with the evolution of the language, Ryo. But yeah, so technically you could consider it as a numeral plus counter combination and could explain why it's weird. Regardless, yeah, as mentioned, Ryo means both. The ho is the usual one we have already seen for direction, way, side, and so on. Accented on the ho on its own. But yeah, so both sides. Here, then we have the possessive particle no, and yeah, it's a noun technically, which takes the possessive particle no to make in practice an adjective. But yeah, both sides, then also, so both parties by extension, but yeah, strictly speaking, both sides. Then we have possessive particle no, so I mentioned me. The one we have already studied even its kanji, yeah, it means I, accented on its own. Subject particle ga. Then we have sonzai. Sonzai is a Chinese compound. Hello Kinorashi, nice to see you here. Oh yeah, sonzai, a Chinese compound. One of the unaccented ones, so typical. Means existence. pretty clear when you see the kanji it uses, but yeah, we haven't studied those yet, so we'll see it when the time comes. Existence, being, presence. But yeah, then the usual noun can be turned into a verb by adding suru, to do, unaccented. Unfortunately, the other completely regular verb, we have to remember that it's is not a state form, negative base is she. And then we simply add an I to make the negative in plain speech. So here it's saying, the sides of both sides. In English, then we will say both eyes simply by adapting it. Don't exist. Aren't present. So it doesn't have. Both eyes are missing. Then it says, Kuchikara choompa o dashite kurayami o tobimawaru. First and foremost, we have kuchi. We've already studied the kanji of that as well. Another body part, this one is mouth. We've seen usually body parts are either accent on the last mora or unaccented. Yeah, kuchi is one of the unaccented ones. By the way, as usual, the u of ku is barely heard if at all because it's between unvoiced consonants. Then we have the particle kara from the mouth. And then we have this choompa. A Chinese compound, but a bigger one. Yeah, actually, because technically it combines a term as smaller, the typical two kanji Chinese compound with, in this case, actually a prefix. Because, yeah, we have ompa, accent on the first mora. Yeah, you can see the second most common accent for those. By the way, reminder, o, n, pa, but yeah, the n, when followed by p, becomes m, like in English. Yeah, you use m before p because yeah, it's the nasal with the same in the same spot as p, so yeah, it makes sense. That means sound wave. Literally uses the two kanji for sound and wave respectively. So yeah, acoustic wave also. The prefix here is cho. You might have already heard of it, potentially even seen it, because yeah, it's a pretty common prefix, which means super, ultra, hyper, extreme, and so on. Other extended meanings, but yeah, the fundamental one, yeah, it's super. Yeah, so found. Whenever super and so on comes into play, should be also for seen also in Dragon Ball Super, I think, but don't quote me on that because it's been some times since I've seen that, but yeah, logically that should be the case. I think it could straight up be also in the logo that Dragon Ball and then Cho. But yeah. So yeah, in our case here, more than super, it becomes ultra. Because yeah, then the word is ultrasonic waves, ultra sound. Luckily, the accent stays. We follow the accent of ompa, that there aren't weird changes due to the prefix. Sometimes there can be. But yeah, so ompa. And yeah, ultrasound. Even closer to the literal translation, ultrasonic waves. Then we have the object particle O, written as one, pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. Dashte, and the other verb we have studied with that kanji, this one to put out, and so on, accented, dasu. Verb, so we have to follow the rules to make that form. Luckily, this one is the easiest. We simply change the U into E to make the continuative form and then attach the te. The E, of course, of C is barely heard if at all between our voice consonants. Dashte. Here I'd say the te form with its most typical usages on its own, which is do the action of the verb and the rest of the sentence, or by doing the action of the verb and so on. Actually, by doing is technically perfect in this case, as we see, I'd say. But then we have kurayami, a compound noun, combines kura from kurai. The accent of kurai on its own, I think, might be unaccented. But let's check. Okay, we remember correctly, unaccented. Kurai means dark, by extension also gloomy, murky, and so on. Dark in color, dark, a dark past, and so on. So yeah, the fundamental meaning, dark. Here, shortened to make it part of this compound, simply kura without the E of the adjective. And then we have yami, accent on the last mora, which means darkness. This is the noun which means darkness, the dark. Other extended meanings, but yeah, this is the fundamental one. You might have heard it if you have seen, if you have heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! In Japanese. Yeah, Yami, Yugi, and so on, all those other Yami counterparts of characters. But yeah. So we get this compound, yeah, literally darkness, so simply a bigger word that again simply means then darkness. An accent like other of these strictly Japanese compounds are, as we have already seen, object particle O, and then we have tobi mawaru. I think we have already seen it, by the way, a compound verb. Also, in this very series, thanks to other Pokédex entries, thinking potentially Spearows, but yeah, other flying, because flying is involved. Yeah, tobu means to fly, also to jump, but yeah, those are related because technically to start flying, first you jump. You leap. Yeah, tobu unaccented. We can change the U into E to make the verb verb. We can change the U into E to make the continuative form. In this case, to attach the second verb part of the compound. Mawaru, unaccented also, which means to turn, rotate, spin. By extension also to go around, and so on. Yeah, here literally it is to fly around, about, says the dictionary. But yeah. By the way, also another meaning would be technically to jump about because of that. The tobu can mean both. Weirdly enough, the accent of the compound here is accented, so be careful despite both words being unaccented on their own. But yeah, so simply that meaning. Yeah. So the translation is by releasing, putting out literally. So yeah, then we can translate it as to release. By releasing ultrasonic waves, ultrasounds from the mouth, it flies about, flies around the dark. So yeah, simply that. And yeah, so found in caves. Nope. Don't give nicknames here. Yeah, with that, we got that. We'll take our usual break now. Around 5 minutes, actually, most likely slightly less. When we'll be back, we'll get that item that's looking at us up there. Ooh, okay, let's not move. And then continue the Mal Moon exploration. So yeah, see you in less than 5 minutes. And we are back. And yeah, so we can continue. First and foremost by getting this item. Simply a paralyzed heal. Mahi Naoshi. I think we should have seen that before. Thanks at the very least to the explanations in the Viridian Trainer School. But yeah, so we'll ignore it for now. And oh boy, yeah, the Zubats continue. Yeah, as I suspected, I actually got not the highest level 1. Yeah, for now, actually, I'll keep Pikachu still in front. To get rid of these quickly. Training Pikachu is a waste in a sense because, of course, of its evolution, as you most certainly are aware of. but at the same time, it will be really important for the upcoming part, well, after leaving Mount Moon, if you know about it. Well, actually, we have already mentioned what's beyond Mount Moon. Yeah, there's Cerulean City. So yeah, yeah. If you know who's waiting us there, yeah. Another reason why we definitely want to train our Bulbasaur more. But yeah, for now, Pikachu in front for the Zubats, although also these show up. I don't remember if in this gen we'll test it, then I'll definitely switch. Also, we actually can get to see a couple of these things. Okay, I don't know if I actually got the second one, so let's do it like this. Okay, we have a couple of things to check here. Yeah, the screenshot is completely useless. Let's get rid of it. Okay, no, I had to. I didn't take it in time there. Oh yeah, we have a Geodude. We have already explained its Japanese name. I tried using the Thunder Wave, called in English Electromagnetic Wave. It says here, Yasei no Ishitsubute Niwa Koka ga nai mitai da. So yeah, simply Yasei, gain wild. Possessive particle no, to put it before as an adjective. Ishitsubute, the Japanese name of Geodude. Particle ni to. Then we have the topic particle where it has a ha. So yeah, as for to, towards the wild Geodude. Then we have Koka. Actually, I wonder if we have seen. I don't think we have seen this before, despite some technically similar effects. Lack of effects, I should say, as we'll see in a second. But yeah, by the way, Koka means effect. Chinese compound accent on the first mora. So yeah, then subject particle ga. Then we have nai, not inexistent, as we have already seen. Here, most certainly used also straight up as a replacement of aru. Well, actually, to make the negative form of aru in plain speech, we instead of conjugating aru to make it, we straight up replace it with nai, which yeah, exactly that already means non-existent. So yeah, that's why. After that, we have mitai, which is an adjective. In the dictionary, it mentions technically suffix, but yeah, not strictly, I'd say. It's used for a certain expression here. It's colloquial, mitai. The meaning is resembling, similar to, sort of. Also when used in the sense actually like a suffix, usually after nouns, then the suffix like. So yeah. Here simply yeah. Actually, this usage here is more like, I'd say, it seems. But yeah, being an adjective, then we have da, the copula in plain speech. mitai doesn't mention the accent there. Let me see if I can find it in the physical dictionary. Because yeah, definitely, most certainly, I'd say a word that then adapts its accent based on the previous one. So yeah, if the word before it is accented, then simply this one remains without the accent and so on. But on its own, and yeah, actually shows the two variants. Mitai, accent on the mi of mitai, or without anything. And yeah, for example, with an accented verb, like naku, to cry, then we have the accent of mitai on the mi. With an accented verb like yomu, to read, then mitai stays all low. Yeah, straight up doesn't have the accent. Same for the adjectives. So yeah, in our case, technically, yeah, stays completely low. So yeah, nai mitai. We keep the accent simply of nai. But yeah, so we have confirmed it. Although actually, yeah, there's also the matter when used after nouns. But yeah, they're same rules. So yeah, because the accent comes out of mitai only when the word before it is unaccented. But yeah, so here, as mentioned, yeah, so it seems that as for towards the wild Isitsubute Geodude, literally there's no effect. So but we can adapt it as in it has no effect towards the wild Geodude. And yeah, as we have seen, by the way, that something aru or na in our case, in the negative, is one of the ways to in Japanese to say to have. So yeah, or simply we can adapt there is there isn't in our case and so on. But yeah. After that, we have actually also this. I don't think we have seen it before. This attack, this move, Doro Asobi. Actually, you can straight up find it also in the online dictionary. Is a compound word, compound noun, from Doro, which is the accent on its own, Doro, on the last more, mud. You might have heard also of Doro Hedoro. But yeah, mud. And then we have asobi from asobu. Should be unaccented, it is. Which means to play games, sports, and so on. So to play. By extension, and in some also pretty common expressions, it's more like to have fun, we could say, doing something. But yeah, we see that better when we get to it. But yeah, fundamental meaning technically to play games, sports. U verb go and verb, so we can change the U into I to make the conjugative form and so the corresponding noun. Play, playing. Also straight up game then. Yeah, as already mentioned, also extended meanings, pleasure, amusement, pastime, recreation, diversion, and so on. Yeah, fundamental meaning, play, so. But yeah, combining so these two words, we get strictly Japanese compound. Unfortunately, can't see the accent there. Let's see if I can find it in the physical dictionary, even though I have some doubts. It's possible in this case, but unfortunately, far from guaranteed. Sometimes we have found some things in the physical dictionary not present there, so it's worth checking in case that's one of those occasions. It isn't, unfortunately. But yeah. So we can confirm it. Could be unaccented, could be accent on the last more of the first word, could be accent on the first more of the second word. These are the three typical accents for these compounds. Unfortunately, yeah, you can see three alternatives, so yeah, I can confirm it, which one it would be. But yeah, literally, so playing, it has technically either playing in the mud or playing with mud. Technically both. So yeah, in Japanese, literally mud playing. So yeah, this is the name of the attack. And then the effect, I have to go to the next one because yeah, I was too quick. And yeah, it says simply, the effect is Denki no Iryoku ga Yowamatta. First and foremost, we have Denki, which we might have already seen thanks to Pikachu. Means electricity. Actually, I think a state up should be the name of electric moves. We can confirm it in a second when we go back to the game. The electric type. Accent on the first Mora. It's one of those Chinese compounds. Yeah, literally we have the kanji for electricity and the usual key for spirit, mind, and so on. But yeah, so electricity. Possessive particle no. Iryoku. A Chinese compound. Which, nice, some good old Mario Tennis fever. Which means power. Also accent on the first Mora, Iryoku. Power, might, also authority, influencing. But yeah, the fundamental meaning would be power, might. Then we have the subject particle ga. And then this verb yowamatta. Yowamaru. And yeah, you can already see, by the way, that it comes from yowai, as already mentioned, the adjective which means weak. This one, it's worth mentioning that there's also yowameru. That one is the transitive form to weaken. I think we might have seen it, if not in this series, another one. Yowamaru is intransitive. And yeah, notice again the transitive in eru, the intransitive in aru, the intransitive in aru, most certainly, actually, a classical form of the passive. So yeah, to be weakened, and yeah, so then simply to weaken as the intransitive verb. And yeah, that's the meaning. U verb, grand verb, so we have to follow the rules. It's in rules, so it becomes double consonant a. Originally, we changed the U into I, yowamari, ta. But then the I fell, yowamarta, difficult to pronounce, so simply became double consonant, doubling of the following consonant, yowamatta. And yeah, by the way, yeah, accented both yowamaru and yowameru. Oh yeah, so here it's saying, yeah, that the power of electricity got weak, weakened, the intransitive, Yeah, so that. Yeah, let's quickly. Yeah, it's Denki is straight up also the name of the type, so we should have explained it also then. But yeah, already here we can see that we can't even straight up paralyze because actually ground, which is one of the types of Geodude as we see, is immune to electric type. So yeah, that's why. Just to be sure, I'll go to... okay, these are kind of risky in any case. So yeah, I have to go for Bulbasaur. Okay, there I actually missed it because I was checking. Let me see quickly what is said. Well, the usual there. Okay, because it tried using Doro Asobi again. Yeah, because of that, actually, it says Shikashi, Umaku, Kimara Nakata. So yeah, Shikashi, first and foremost. A conjunction which means however. And yeah, the accent is on the ka. The first she is always barely heard if at all because it's between our voice consonants. The second one can be we can apply that also to the second one when and usually that can be the case considering how it's used when there's a stop when there's a pause after it. Yeah, the first one regardless. So shkash, either shkashi or shkash technically. Yeah, the accent is on the ka regardless. So yeah, however, then we have umaku, umai. Yeah, in this case, technically would be written with kanji when usually written with kana alone. But yeah, it's the one that means skillful. Then simply we could say good technically. We adject, we drop the e, add ku to make the adverb in this case. So yeah, well, simply, or skillfully, more specifically. And then we have this verb kimara nakata from kimaru. Kimaru unaccented. I think we might have seen Kimeru. The transitive, again, other transitive in Eru, intransitive in Aru. So the intransitive most certainly the passive form, classical Japanese. Unaccented. So in our case here to be decided. In this case, though, it should be one of the extended meanings. Yeah, which is simply, which funny enough already mentioned in its meanings in the dictionary. To be well executed, to go well, to succeed. Yeah, so unsurprisingly it uses umaku before it. By the way, umai accented, so yeah, then the ku form, the conjugative form, then corresponding adverb, the accent moves on the third to last mora, so yeah, umaku. But yeah, so kimaru in this sense, go well, succeed. U verb, common verb, so we can change the u into a to make the reality not necessary for negative base. To then add nai to make the negative form. Doesn't stop there though, because then we drop the e of the nai technically add Q to make this continuative form require technically to then add aru, the verb which means to be as in to exist, of inanimate things on its own, as already mentioned. Here simply used to conjugate the adjectives, while here and so also nai, and so the negative form of verbs in plain speech. Aru, verb and verb, so to make that a form, we have to follow the rules again in Ru, so double consonant A. So yeah, naku atta gets contracted into nakatta by dropping the U, and nowadays it's found as is. Yeah, you don't find naku atta, nakatta. Cioè negative past form of the verb. So yeah, here it's saying, yeah, however, it didn't go well. Yeah, because it, it actually already had already used it. Yeah, I'm not using that for sure because that's a guaranteed defeating it immediately. This, however, will take too much time. We'll use this Marukunaru we have already seen in the gym. That way don't have to explain anymore. Yeah, let's continue a little like this until it goes to the yellow. It's at a half, and then we can try throwing a Pokeball. Lucky mostly uses the Doro Asobi, which doesn't have any effects after using it once. Yeah, now we're here. So yeah, now I used also a tackle there, but we'll heal. Not fully, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll try to catch it, and that's it. Okay, actually failed. That I don't think we've seen before, so let's actually show it. Okay, no, I think we might have seen before. So I'll actually only quickly translate it. Unfortunate, Sannen. This I want to mention, although also again, Chinese compound, but it's one of those with the weird accents. In this case, on the ne of nen, Zannen. But yeah, unfortunate, regrettable, and so on. The most Koshi we might not have, we might have seen a similar expression, but because there are some variants of these, so let's actually explain it while we're at it. Most Koshi de tsukamai rareta noni. And yeah, we have this most Koshi, technically compound. We have mo, which in this case means more. One of the meanings of mo on its own accent on the first mora, accented, so it can only stay there. Another most common, another quite common meaning is already, and so on. But yeah, here more. Skoshi means a little, a bit, it's an adverb. And so on. So here, straight up, a bit more, a bit longer. used here with this particle there after it. I suspect instead of the particle, it could be the form of the copula. So yeah, being a bit more, a bit longer, but yeah, actually straight up, regardless, used here. Cioè, Moskoshi on its own, simply a bit more, a bit longer. This one, Moskoshi te, cioè, literally being, if we consider it that the form of the copula, being a bit more, a bit longer. So then almost nearly close to. Could also be, as I see straight up, a longer form of this expression. Moskoshi no tokoro de. Technically, then also that in that case it would be, it could be that particle de as in at, but yeah, also straight up the copula, the form of the copula anyway. But yeah, there we would add the no, the possessive particle, to connect it to tokoro, place an accented tokoro. In this case, of course, figuratively, the figurative spot. Yeah, so because of that, almost nearly close to. And then, last but not least, Tsukamai Rareta from Tsukamai-ru. We have already seen it in this very series because it's the verb which means to catch, to capture. In other contexts, of course, also to arrest and so on. Here, simply to catch Pokemon. Unaccented. Ru verb, Ichidan verb. So, we can change the U into A and then add re-ru. Here we can see the ru because of further conjugation. To make either the passive or potential form of the verb. Here, based on the context, the passive. The potential form can also be recognized. Can also drop the ra, and then we know that it's the potential form. But it can also be kept as is, and then only based on the context. Here, based on the context, passive. Regardless, there becomes a ru verb, Ichidan verb, rare-ru. So simply to then make the ta form, we drop the ru, continuative form, to attach then the ta. Ta form, past form of the verb in plain speech. But it doesn't stop there, in this case, because we add this no-ni. No-ni technically is a particle, which means although, even though, and so on. Used also after, here at the end of a sentence, after the ata form, so past form of a verb, with the meaning, the dictionary mentions if only, I wish, and yeah, that's one of the usages, I'd say more in general to express regret. Would be technically, I wish I had, in this case passive, so it had been caught. So yeah, we could keep it like that, but yeah, expresses regret for something that hasn't happened. But yeah, so here it's saying, if only it had been caught. But yeah, then by adapting it's so close to being to being caught. So yeah, that. That increases. The good news is that at least we are healing our Bulbasaur here. I know I have to keep throwing balls because here it's about to die because of the of that. So yeah, it's look like this. Oh yeah, so we have to check the Pokédex page of Geodude here. The category is Yama no Pokemon. So yeah, Yama is already mentioned. Mountain. Accent on the last more, so in this case actually becomes an accent because of the following possessive particle. That's the rule of the possessive particle nowadays. Not applied in some compounds, but we have already seen that. But yeah, in general, it should be applied. So in our case here, Yamano instead of Yamano. Oh yeah, mountain Pokemon. Pokédex category, Pokédex habitats. The category of the Pokemon itself is Ganseki Pokemon. Yeah, Ganseki is straight up simply rock as a Chinese compound. We might have seen it before. Accent on the first more. Yeah, combines the two kanji, one for boulder, the other one for rock, Iwa, respectively, and Ishi, both accent on the last mora on their own as the strictly Japanese readings. But yeah, rock, Pokemon, the stats, and then the explanation. Marukute mochiyasui no de, tsukande aite ni nagete butsukeru, ishitsubute, Gassen ga dekiru. Yeah. First and foremost, we have Marukute from Marui. We have studied one of the kanji with this strict Japanese reading, not the one most likely here, because this one is spherical. The one we studied is circular, disc-shaped. Regardless, unaccented. So round, or in general. E adjective, so yeah, we can drop the E to add the Q, continuative form, then to attach the T to make the T form. And yeah, simply to that and something else, so to connect to another E adjective usually, so in this case to another adjective, so in this case yeah, we have round and. In this case then we have mochiyasui. Comes from motsu, to hold. Technically, originally in one's hands, then in general to take, to carry, by extension also to possess, to have. U verb, common verb, so we can change the U into I to make the continuative form. In this case, required to then attach, becomes technically a compound adjective, in this case. Because we add yasui. When used after this yasui used after the continuative form of verbs means easy to do the action of the verb before it. On its own, the yasui used on its own has a different meaning. Cheap, as in inexpensive, or calm. Peaceful, and so on. Yeah, not here easy to hold, to take, to carry. Then we have node, conjunction, which means because. Literally, it's actually most certainly not the usual nominalizer for verbs. Technically, also adjectives, as we can see here. Thing as in fact, the, in this case, yeah, the form of the copula, so being that the case of whatever comes before that. So then from that you can see why it gets the meaning because. There's a difference compared to kara, another conjunction which means because, but we'll see it when it comes up. Then we have tsukande. Tsukamu is the verb, which means to seize, to catch, to grasp. In this case, better as in the sense to grip, to grab, and so on. By extension, also to obtain, to acquire, and but yeah, tsukamu should be accented. Yes, it is. Verb and verb to make the te form, like in this case, we have to follow the rules. It's in mu, so it becomes nde. Originally, we changed the u into i, tsukami te. The i fell, so only the nasa remained. Technically M, but then became the moral nasa and that influenced the te to become voiced again because it was originally prenasalized. So yeah, te was actually nde. So yeah, straight up like it's written now. Yeah, the form here it's in its usual usages. Do that and the rest of the sentence, or by doing that. Then we have aite. We've seen it a lot in this very series because it means opponent in our case. In general, other party or companion. Accent on the last mora. Strictly Japanese compound, this one. But yeah, good. So we could technically say it follows the tendency of the accent of the first more of the second word part of the compound. But yeah, opponent. Ni, to, towards. Then we have nagete, from nageru, to throw. Hurling and so on. By extension also to give up, as in from to throw away. But yeah, nageru, verb it's and verb. So yeah, we drop the ru, continuative form, add the te to make the te form. The action of the te form is on the third to last mora, so yeah, in this case it moves nagete instead of nageru. Low, high, low. Yeah, here high, low, low. Then we have butsukeru. Butsukeru, yeah, technically another compound verb. A not typical one, this one. Because the first kanji usually it's doesn't have the pronunciation on its own, but the kanji means to hit anyway. And then we attach the usual tsukeru to add, to attach, to apply, to add, and so on. Found often as the second verb part of compound verbs. Luckily, butsukeru still accented like tsukeru. The U of tsu barely heard if at all, it's between voice consonants. But yeah, so it means to hit one's head, to run into, to crash into. Well, in our case, actually, more to throw at, to fling at, to hurl at. And yeah, so that. So to hit, technically, but in that sense. And yeah, the at is by the tsukeru also. After that, we have Ishitsubute, here written with katakana like the name of the Pokemon, but it could straight up be technically the noun which we have seen. Ishitsubute is a word, Chinese a strictly Japanese compound from ishi, rock, and this tsubute, an accented one, which means stone, specifically used for throwing. But yeah, so this ishi tsubute, throwing stone, and so on. Then we have gassen, a Chinese compound, yeah, this one for real. Let me check its accent. Its meaning is not sure why I found it like that. Okay, maybe. Okay, not sure. But yeah, it means battle, fight, contest also. The sign, yeah, it's the kanji we haven't studied yet with strictly Japanese reading tatakau, to fight, the more common one. The ga before it, here in this case, would be usually pronounced as go, but actually it was from ga, hu. And that's why in some compounds like this one, ga, hu, the gapu originally, yeah, the pu became the doubling of the got contracted with the following consonant, so yeah, it becomes doubling of the following consonant. That's why it shows up, despite it nowadays being pronounced usually on its own as go. But yeah, it's the kanji for 2 feet au, the one which means 2 feet, suit, and so on. So match, fight, contest, because of that. Gassen, yeah, an accent like most of Chinese compounds are. Subject particle ga. And then the kiru, to be able to do, also used because of its meaning straight up as the replacement. Instead of conjugating suru to make the potential form, we straight up replace it with the kiru, which already means to be able to do. And yeah, so actually in this case, I think it's gassen on its own a noun, but yeah, can be turned into a verb by adding suru, and yeah, so that's why. Notice, by the way, that technically those nouns, Chinese compounds that can be turned into verbs by adding suru, can also take the particles, so technically they do stay nouns, and then we simply add to do whatever the meaning of that noun is. Here by adapting to take part in a battle. Yeah, so usually the object particle o with suru, but yeah, with the kiru, then potential requires the subject particle. So yeah, that because it comes from the something is possible. So that's why it. For the potential, traditionally we would use the ga as the particle. Nowadays we can find also straight up for convenience. But yeah, so the full translation, the meaning is that I think actually okay, then Ishitsubute was in katakana there because it is straight up the name of the Pokemon in this case. We'll see why in a second. Because yeah, the final part is before this we technically have noticed that Utsukeru, and then we have a noun, so relative close. So yeah, we are talking about match fight contest between Geodudes. So I think it's in that sense a Geodude contest, Geodude fight is possible. So yeah, they can do a Geodude contest in which they well, it says first let's focus on the first part, because then it becomes clearer. Because they are, as we are talking about the Geodudes, they are round and easy to carry. By grabbing, they grab Geodude implied, so, and throw and hit opponents by throwing them to keep that negative would scare both verbs. And so yeah, they and then we would have actually first they are capable of doing a Geodude context in which, and then we would have all the first part already mentioned. So yeah, practically what he's saying here is that yeah, they do they throw other Geodude at each other and have a context in the sense. So yeah, pretty funny that that's the case. Yeah, so with that we can actually end it here, there. We don't have much time left, so actually okay, let me see if we can quickly do a little something more. Definitely have to avoid fights though. But apart from here, this wild Pokemon, but yeah, I'm not using the few repairs we have yet. Yeah, I don't remember if... okay, there's a trainer, and that I had... I thought I remembered that... but I do wonder... Okay, yeah, there's that one. Oh boy. Okay, let's try to quickly tackle it. Then wanted to avoid it, but oh well. This one says Ua. First and foremost, with that small Tsu also, so another up the end. Yeah, it's simply an exclamation. Yikes, oops, eep, ag, and so on. Also says the dictionary. Yeah. Then says Nanda. Literally, what is it? From Nani. Interruptive pronoun, which means what. Accent on the na. Here then gets contracted the ni into n. Because of the following da, which is simply the copula. So literally, what is it? Can also be used as an exclamation, as in what the heck. And then says Kyuni koe kakeru na. Which we didn't do again, but actually it doesn't work like that in Pokemon games. Q unaccented on its own, as also technically here, is a Chinese, the Chinese reading of a kanji, but yeah, also used on its own. Na adjective, which means sudden, abrupt, unexpected, extended means. Here, being an adjective, we can add the ni to make again technical continuity form. But yeah, here used as the adverbial form. So yeah, suddenly, koe, voice. Accent on the first mora. Object particle o. Kakeru. Yeah, verb we have already seen before. Its fundamental meaning would be to hang up and several extended meanings. Yeah, in our case here, simply the verb required with this expression, koe o kakeru, pretty sure I find it as is also in the dictionary. Yeah, I found it, of course. Technically to greet also, but yeah, no, in this case, better to call out to, by extension, yeah, also to greet, to start talking to, and other extended meanings. Kakeru, by the way, accented on its own, so yeah, also here should be koe o kakeru. Last but not least, actually, it doesn't stop there because we have an a after it, which in this case, lucky not the confusing final sentence particle, but yeah, no, straight up required by the verb to make the imperative negative. So yeah, don't call me out suddenly. We didn't do that, but oh well. And yeah, we have this new trainer class. Yeah, I wanted to avoid that. But oh well, we'll try to be fast about it. Yeah, first and foremost, we have this rikake, which technically is a compound, Chinese compound, but a bigger one. From Rika, that one on its own, accent on the first mora. Science, natural sciences, and related fields, including mathematics, engineering, medicine, and so on, as it says also here. But yeah, so science. Of course, by extension, also the faculties of science and engineering, medicine, and so on at university. And then we have this ke as the suffix on its own ke accented, so on the ke, also pronounced as simply as k, but yeah, now in standard Japanese, e becomes long e, usually, but yeah, can be still pronounced as a. System, group, and so on, but yeah, the fundamental meaning would be system. I've seen already that rikake becomes an accent. Let's see if I can find it ke as a suffix, and so that's always the case. Would be great if that. Okay, no, I can't see it unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully that's the case. But yeah, here we have it becomes an accent. But yeah, so the sciences system literally. But yeah, as in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Then we have the possessive particle no, and then otoko, yeah, male. So yeah, man. So then we could say also fellow guy and so on. So yeah, here it says yeah, a sciences man, Kimitaka, it's called. sends a Magnemite called Koiru, the Japanese name, but we'll actually check it another time. We don't have time for that now, technically. I tried sending Mankey because I think, well, it should be the case considering that. Okay, that I need to quickly show the new move. Kinzoku on. Yeah, literally metallic sound because yeah, it comes from Kinzoku, Chinese compound, accent on the first mora, this one which means metal. Kin, yeah, the kanji we have already studied for metal, and then by also more specifically gold, but yeah, more in general metal. Zoku means belong, and we'll see, but we'll see it better when we find it again. And then we have on Oto sound. Oto is the strictly Japanese reading, on is the Chinese one, of course. The accent is before on itself, so it could be that when added as a suffix, that's always the case. Let's see if we can find it. No, can't find it, but yeah, hopefully that's the case again. But yeah, so literally metal sound, so yeah, metallic sound. And here, yeah, it drops Tokubo as a reminder, yeah, special defense, a short a contraction technically, but we have seen that before. What I don't think we have seen before is this Kakutto, and onomatopoeia as usual, an adverb technically. Notice again the to at the end, so yeah, Gaku. Can't find it technically. Yeah, okay. Straight up, actually, I have to search it as Gaku without a to find it in the to find it there. Okay, weird. At the very least, with okay, I hope that didn't cause issues. Find it with the plugin. But yeah, Gaku. And then we add the to as the quoting particle again. Can find the accent for it, unfortunately. But it means with a collapse, with a slump, and yeah, because of that sound, Gaku. Yeah, so this is the sharply decreases seen in Pokemon games, and yeah. So yeah, we've checked that. You know, that we had to check now. We'll definitely find other Magnemites later, so that we can check at another time. And honestly, I would like also definitely when we'll have to catch one ourselves, at the very least, but we'll find it also when other trainers have them. So I could quickly mention, okay, we are at it, so honestly I mention it. Coil is the Japanese name. Yeah, actually pretty easy. Comes from coil, the English word, but yeah, most certainly actually, most likely from implied electromagnetic coil. So yeah, because of that. Okay, we might get an issue. But yeah, it's an electrical conductor in the shape of a coil. Like that. Okay, yeah, let's defeat it. And yeah, super effective because it's also steel type in this game, unlike in the originals. So yeah, pretty useful. Okay, Pikachu wants to learn Denko Sekka. As we have seen, that's and you can see it also here, normal with a 40 attack. Here we also have the description, but these we are definitely not checking now. I'll get rid of well, technically the Shippofuru Tail Whip, since anyway, apart from this very attack, Pikachu has special attacks with those electric. We don't have the physical special split yet in this game. So, and yeah, then we have, of course, then wants to send out that Pokemon. As the next one, I send out Bulbasaur. And yeah, we have Biriridama as is the Japanese name of okay, so, sorry because Voltorb. I was I had the Electrode in mind, but not the other one for a second. But yeah, Voltorb's Japanese name is Biriridama. At this point, we actually mention it. The biriri actually comes from biribiri, an onomatopoeia which has other meanings, but in this case, biribiri, accented on the first more, like these onomatopoeias with the doubling usually are accented as the accent. In other cases, tear to pieces, rip apart, with a rattle, with a shudder, but yeah, no, in our case, feeling an electric shock. And then the Dama, which is simply the voicing of Tama, because technically that becomes the second word part of a compound and is of strictly Japanese origin. It usually happens to those. But yeah, Tama, accented on the last mora, means ball, sphere. So yeah, literally we have the the onomatopoeia of the electric shock. Ball, sphere, pretty easy. Yeah, use these. Yeah, this attack. Okay, I'll quickly showcase it here. I don't remember the Japanese, English name. We could simply check here the effect, simply because yeah, the name of the movie is the same as what it says here. Juden, Chinese compound, which means to charging of electrically. Also used for recharging of batteries, and also figuratively recharging one's batteries, replenishing one's energy. Yeah, Chinese compound and accented as most of those are. Yeah, here as the effect simply says that the opponent Biriridama, aite no Biriridama wa Jude no hajimeta. So the opponent Voltorb, as for the opponent Voltorb, the verb is hajimeru, to start. Root verb is some verb, so drop the ru, to add the ta. So yeah, started charging. And yeah, it's that which to strengthen should be the next electric move. Oh yeah, with that we could oh yeah, good choice sending Bulbasaur because pretty strongest Pokemon and okay, we also have this to check out quickly. Another attack. Screech maybe was in English, I don't remember. In Japanese it's simply Iya na Oto. Iya, the na adjective with accent on the last mora, which means disliking, not wanting, unwilling, by extension, so unpleasant, disagreeable, and so on. So in our case, yeah, unpleasant, then of the adjective, because we have then oto as the noun, followed, modified by this adjective. Oto, as already mentioned, no, sound or noise, accented on the last mora on its own. Oto. Oh yeah, so a horrible, or simply we could say unpleasant noise, then I'd say more than sound. Oh yeah, the effect is that it drastically lowers, yeah, we have Gakuto again, the defense, this one, the physical defense of Kyoryoku. Let's go back. Okay, defeated that, perfect. So yeah, with this, Bulbasaur that, and then yeah, this trainer says suspension dots konna Pokemon de wa dame ka. Konna, contraction of konoyona, this kind of yeah, then simply contracted, still unaccented. We have explained it before. I'll avoid explaining it again for now, since we don't have much time. Pokemon, and this kind of Pokemon. The, here I'd say as the particle with, or could be again the as the form of the copula technical, but yeah, no, here I'd say we could simply keep it as the with, as in the means topic particle wa. Dame, an adjective which means accent on the last mora, no good, not serving its purpose, useless, and so on. Hopeless, wasted, and so on. Last but not least, the interrogative particle ka. Here I guess more as a rhetorical question. So it's useless, it's hopeless. Well, actually, as for these kind of Pokemon, it's hopeless with those that he couldn't win with them. Oh yeah, okay. We'll see what he has to say next time. Yeah, here we'll save that. Oh yeah, so we can close the game. And yes, so today we continued Mount Moon. Before we actually went to get some repairs. Unfortunately, only got 3, so for now we are avoiding using them. But yeah, we continued Mount Moon, finished the left part from the entrance, and started the right one, so where we will be able to continue. But yeah, so next time we continue again Mount Moon, which won't be on Friday, because This Wednesday I won't be able to stream because I'll be busy. So on Friday we'll play on the other. We'll start the other. Since we have finished Star Fox, our other Let's Learn Japanese with series. Kairu no tame ni kane wa naru. For the Frog the Bell Tolls, as you can see here, I have the Game Boy app because of that. FireRed will go to Monday of next week. Yeah, of course, in the middle we have then on Friday that. On Sunday, unless plans change, again, mostly just for fun, most likely Tomodachi Life, but yeah, we'll repeat this when the time comes. But yeah, see you next time.